Have you ever felt like your brain is running on autopilot, stuck in a loop of negative thoughts you just can't shake? If you're tired of excuses, you're in the right place. One rule here: discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. Let's get to work. Have you ever felt like your brain is running on autopilot, stuck in a loop of negative thoughts you just can't shake? What if I told you that every thought you have runs like a line of code, and most people are running outdated, buggy software from their childhood? It's true. Your mind operates on a complex algorithm, a set of mental programs that dictate how you react, feel, and behave. But here's the game-changing part. You are the programmer. You have the power to debug, update, and completely rewrite your mental code. If you've ever wanted to break free from self-doubt, anxiety, or procrastination, you're in the right place. Today, we're going deep into how you can reprogram your mind to reshape your reality. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's learn how to become the master architect of your own thoughts. So, what exactly is this mental programming? Think of it like the operating system on your phone or computer. When you were a child, your experiences, the things you were told, and the behaviors you observed all installed a set of core programs. These programs are your beliefs about yourself and the world. I'm not good at math, I'm not a confident person, or I always mess things up. These aren't facts. They're lines of code that were written years ago, and they've been running automatically in the background ever since. This programming creates automatic thoughts, those instant knee-jerk reactions that pop into your head without you even trying. Psychologists often categorize these automatic thoughts into a few key types, which might sound very familiar to you. First, there's the mind reader. This is when you assume you know what other people are thinking, and it's usually negative. You walk past a coworker who doesn't say hi, and your mind immediately jumps to, "They must be mad at me." Or you give a presentation, and you're convinced everyone in the room thinks you're an idiot. You're not actually reading minds. You're just projecting your own insecurities and fears onto others. This outdated code is designed to protect you from social rejection, but in today's world, it just creates unnecessary anxiety and social friction. Next up is the fortune teller. This is the mental program that predicts the future. And again, it's almost always a catastrophe. You have a job interview coming up, and your brain runs the simulation. I'm going to stumble over my words, they'll ask a question I can't answer, and I'm definitely not going to get the job. This program tries to prepare you for the worst-case scenario, but it ends up creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you go into a situation convinced you'll fail, you're more likely to be nervous, perform poorly, and actually fail. It's a classic bug in the system. Finally, there's the personalizer. This is the sneaky bit of code that makes you believe everything is your fault. If a team project fails, your immediate thought is, "It's because of me. I should have done more." If your friend is in a bad mood, you think, "I must have done something to upset them." This program takes all external events and filters them through a lens of self-blame. It's a heavy burden to carry, and it completely erodes your self-esteem over time. These three types of thoughts, mind reader, fortune teller, and personalizer, are just a few examples of buggy code running in our heads. The good news is, we can debug them. So, how do we actually start reprogramming our minds? The first and most powerful technique is called cognitive reframing. This is like being a code editor for your own thoughts. It's not about pretending bad things don't happen or forcing yourself to be happy. It's about challenging the automatic negative thought and finding a more balanced, realistic perspective. Let's say you make a mistake at work. Your automatic thought, your old program, might be, "I'm so incompetent, I can't do anything right." That's a personalizer bug. To reframe this, you first need to catch the thought, acknowledge it, then question it like a detective. Is it really true that you can't do anything right? Probably not. You can list several things you do well every single day. A better, more accurate reframe would be, "I made a mistake on this one task. It's frustrating, but it doesn't define my overall competence. What can I learn from this so I don't repeat it?" See the difference? You're not denying the mistake. You're just changing the story you tell yourself about it. You're editing the code from, "I am a failure," to "I'm a person who sometimes makes mistakes and learns from them." The second technique is something I call dopamine anchoring. This is all about associating positive feelings with the new, desired thought patterns. Your brain is wired to seek pleasure and rewards, which is driven by the neurotransmitter dopamine. We can use this to our advantage. Let's say you're trying to build a habit of going to the gym, but your old program says, ugh, exercise is a chore, it's painful, I don't want to go. You'll never stick with it if that's the code you're running. To reprogram this, you need to anchor the act of going to the gym to a dopamine release. This could be anything. Maybe you only listen to your favorite high-energy podcast while you're at the gym, or you treat yourself to a delicious protein smoothie afterward. Or you simply take a moment after each workout to consciously acknowledge your accomplishment. Close your eyes and say to yourself, I did it. I'm proud of myself for showing up. That feeling of pride is a natural dopamine hit. Over time, your brain will start to associate the gym with that reward, and the code will change from exercise is a pain to exercise makes me feel accomplished and energized. You're literally hacking your own reward system to build better habits. The third technique is a simple but incredibly effective emergency stop button for negative thought spirals. It's called the thought interruption technique. Sometimes, especially when we're stressed or tired, our brains get stuck in a negative loop, replaying the same worry over and over again. It's like a computer that's frozen on a blue screen of death. The thought interruption technique is your Ctrl plus Alt plus Delete. The moment you notice you're spiraling, you need to physically and mentally interrupt the pattern. You can literally say the word stop out loud. Some people find it helpful to snap a rubber band on their wrist, not to punish themselves, but as a physical jolt to break the mental trance. Once you've interrupted the thought, immediately redirect your focus to something else. This needs to be something engaging. Don't just try to not think about the negative thing, because that never works. Instead, get up and walk around the room. Describe 5 things you can see in detail. Put on a song and sing along to the lyrics. Call a friend and ask them about their day. The key is to force your brain onto a completely different track. It breaks the momentum of the negative spiral and gives you the space to then apply a more thoughtful technique like cognitive reframing. Let me give you a real-life example of how this all comes together. I used to have a huge fear of public speaking. My mental program was a cocktail of all 3 bugs. The fortune teller said, "You're going to forget everything and humiliate yourself." The mind reader said, "Everyone will think you're boring and unqualified." And the personalizer said, "If it goes badly, it's all my fault and proves I'm a failure." It was paralyzing. So I decided to consciously reprogram this. First, I used cognitive reframing. I challenged the thought that I would humiliate myself. I told myself, I've prepared for this. I know my material. Even if I stumble, it's not humiliation. It's just being human. Most people are supportive, not critical. Next, I used dopamine anchoring. I started practicing my talks while listening to my favorite pump-up music. After every practice session, no matter how it went, I would treat myself to a small piece of dark chocolate and consciously tell myself, "Good job, you faced your fear." I started associating speaking practice with a positive reward. Finally, in the minutes before I had to go on stage, when the negative spiral would start, I used thought interruption. I would go to the bathroom, splash cold water on my face, and say, "Stop." Then, I'd do a few power poses and focus intently on my breathing, counting my breaths in and out. It broke the cycle of panic. It didn't happen overnight, but slowly and surely, I rewrote the code. Now, public speaking is a part of my job that I actually enjoy. The old program is still there, archived somewhere in my brain, but it no longer runs on default. I've installed a new, more powerful program. This is the power you hold. Your mind is not a fixed entity. It's a dynamic, programmable system. The thoughts that are holding you back are not you. They are just old habits, old lines of code that can be updated. Start by becoming aware of your automatic thoughts. Are you mind reading, fortune telling, or personalizing? When you catch one of these bugs, don't judge yourself. Just observe it. Then, use cognitive reframing to challenge and edit the thought into something more realistic and empowering. Use dopamine anchoring to attach positive feelings to the new behaviors and thought patterns you want to install. And use thought interruption as your emergency stop when you find yourself caught in a negative loop. This isn't a one-time fix. It's a continuous process of mental maintenance and upgrading. It's about taking active control of your inner world. Because when you reprogram your mind, you truly begin to reshape your reality. You stop being a passive user of your own brain and become its lead developer. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I hope these techniques give you a new sense of power over your own mind.